President, for the last 6 months of this Senate, I've been coming down here every week to talk about the waste of the week, examples of waste, fraud, and abuse within the federal government. I can't believe we've already done, this is number 17. We are continuing to rack up significant savings to the taxpayer if we could eliminate these documented and certified wastes that have been determined through the various government agencies, inspector generals, and others. Today we turn to a rather serious topic regarding the receipt of taxpayer dollars by criminals who are avoiding felony arrest but are still receiving benefits at taxpayers' expense. Little history. Mr. President, the Social Security Act currently prohibits those fleeing justice from receiving Social Security and other federal benefits. Congress first addressed this issue in 1996 when it banned fugitive felons from receiving Social Security benefits, and then expanded this prohibition in 2004 to also apply this ban to Social Security disability insurance and World War II benefits. So that law in place, unfortunately, has run into some conflicting opinions by court challenges that have weakened effects of the law and led to a lack of clarity in terms of what the original language and original intent by Congress was supposed to be. And to address this problem, because it is a problem and there's lack of clarity, I have this week introduced legislation to amend the Social Security Act to clearly state and to clarify the intent of the law that prohibits fugitive felons from receiving Social Security retirement and disability benefits. My bill would clarify this law and return the implementation of the policy to its original intent. Now, let me be clear. The government should not be providing benefits to those avoiding prosecution, custody, or confinement for a crime or attempt to commit a crime that is considered a felony. But we're not talking here about individuals who get speeding tickets or make a mistake on their taxes. This legislation applies only to those with an arrest order for felony charges. The crime must be of enough serious magnitude to carry with it a minimum sentence of 1 or more years in prison. So we want to be careful here that we are not imposing this restriction of receipt of benefits on someone who doesn't qualify under the law, and that's another clarification that we want to make. Furthermore, the bill retains the ability of the Social Security Administration to continue or restore benefits if the individual can show good cause, such as if they were exonerated of the crime or perhaps victim of an identity theft or other legitimate reasons to fall into the classification and category of loss of benefit. Now, according to the Congressional Budget Office, this common sense fix could save taxpayers $4.8 billion over the next 10 years alone. And so, bottom line, we pull out our chart, our ever-growing gauge of money that has been wasted through fraud and abuse within the federal government. We now are we're climbing very quickly to $100 billion. I thought it would take a year to get there if I did one a week. We're going to have to make a major extension to this chart or redo this because we are closing in on $100 billion of wasted taxpayer money documented by federal government agencies and investigations. So passage of this bill will add $4.8 billion to our chart. Mr. President, we have come across so many instances of bloat, waste, fraud, and abuse. I could be down here every day the Senate's in session. I could be down here every hour the Senate is in session. It's staggering the amount of dysfunction that is occurring through this bloated bureaucracy called the federal government. And here we are trying to protect the taxpayers of our states who are stretched to the gills in terms of what they have to pay, not only in federal but state or sales or you name it, real estate, the taxes that roll up and consume so much of everybody's weekly pay. The least we can do, while we need to make major fix to our fiscal problems here, the least we can do is take those that have been identified by legitimate, neutral organizations, inspector generals of the United States, various agencies, and bring those to light and then do something about it. Not just come down here and make a chart and add red ink, but actually introduce legislation, which I'm trying to do on most of these pieces so that we can remedy this problem. So while we have an administration here who has refused over and over to sit down and work out a long-term fiscal debt reduction program that this country desperately needs, because we are still, that debt clock is still ticking away like crazy. If you want to see it, turn on to my website, coach.senate.gov, and we've got the clock right there. We haven't talked about it very much down here lately. We made a big push earlier. Too many people have thrown up their hands and said, under this administration, it's not going to happen, and that probably is right. But the least we can do then, until we get a new management in the White House, the least we can do is find these issues of waste, fraud, and abuse and do something about it now. So that's what we're trying to do. I look forward to being back here next week with the latest edition of Waste of the Week. Mr. President, again, I thank my colleague from Maine for her patience, and I, at this point, yield the floor.